The biggest fraud in history didn't look exciting. No flashy promises, no get-rich-quick pitch, just steady, boring returns, year after year after year. And that's exactly why it worked. This is Bernie Madoff, the man who stole $65 billion by looking like the safest bet on Wall Street. On paper, Bernie Madoff was the last person you'd suspect. He had once been chairman of the Nasdaq stock exchange, one of the most respected names in American finance. His fund wasn't loud or desperate for clients. It was the opposite. Quiet, exclusive, hard to get into. People felt lucky just to be allowed in, and that reputation was the perfect disguise. Because underneath it, Madoff was running a Ponzi scheme. The exact same trick Charles Ponzi used a century earlier, paying old investors with money from new ones while no real investing happened at all. But here's where Madoff was different. Ponzi screamed 50% in 45 days. Madoff whispered. He promised modest, steady returns, around 10 to 12% a year. Nothing crazy, nothing that screamed scam, just smooth, reliable gains that somehow never had a bad year. And that was the real tell. No honest investment goes up every single year. Markets crash, funds dip. That's normal. Madoff's never did. It was too perfect. In fact, one analyst warned regulators for years that the numbers were mathematically impossible. He was brushed off. Nobody truly checked. Because when something looks safe, respectable, and consistent, people stop asking questions. That's the trap. Then came 2008. The financial crisis hit, and panicked investors all wanted their money back at once. But the money was never there. It had been paid out to earlier investors for decades. Madoff confessed, even to his own sons. He pleaded guilty to 11 federal crimes and was sentenced to 150 years. He died in prison in 2021. And here's the part that reframes everything. That $65 billion, most of it never existed. It was the fake number on people's account statements, the fantasy Madoff printed for them. The real money lost was closer to $17 billion. And remarkably, after years of recovery efforts, victims got back about 94% of what they truly lost. But the lesson is the one that should stay with you. The most dangerous scams don't always look too good to be true. Sometimes the red flag is that something looks too perfect, too smooth, too steady, with no way to check what's really inside. Subscribe for more stories nobody talks about.